Dave, let's turn to the NBA. And Rob G, will bring him in, our producer, because of Joel Embiid situation, James Harden, and, remember he called Daryl Morey, the general manager, a liar. Yep. Not once, but twice, said he could never play for an organization with a guy who's leading it in Daryl Morey, Rob G, and obviously Joel Embiid is not happy.
Right, and he's kind of been planting the seeds for a while now that he's less than satisfied in Philadelphia. So about a month ago, we were talking about it on the show, he was at an uninterrupted film festival, and he was talking about his career, and he says, I just want to win a championship, whatever it takes, and whether it's in Philly or anywhere else. So that kind of raised some eyebrows, of course. And then yesterday, overnight, in the wake of the James Harden calling Daryl Morey a liar, Joel Embiid added more fuel to the fire. He removed Philadelphia as his official location in his Twitter bio. And he removed the word processing from his Twitter bio. As you know, it's a nod to people saying, trust the process. He refers to himself as Joel the Process Embiid. So he's no longer processing, and he's no longer calling Philadelphia his home base.
What these guys, this is what they do, Rob G. Haven't we seen this from a lot of players? Like Dave, they get their panties in a bunch, and Kyler Murray did it. Remember with the Cardinals, he scrubbed all his stuff off until he got paid, and this is the thing. But here we go. Let's talk about, you got to try to pacify Embiid. He's your star player, just won the MVP last year. But where are you, Dave, on James Harden? If you're the GM, you're running this, what would you do? This guy doesn't want to play, called the general manager a liar twice, said he's not going to play for an organization led by a liar. What would you do if you're the Philadelphia 76ers?
Okay, Rob, so I'm putting on my GM hat.
Yes.
I'm looking to move James Harden
so
as
you're
soon
gonna give him
as
his
possible.
way.
Absolutely. I'm going to go out here and see what I can build. I'm going to look at my team chemistry, and I'm going to look for players that can come in here and improve not only our team, but guys that are good clubhouse guys. No, Rob, I was in the playoffs every year of my career except my rookie year.
Is that right?
Every year, okay. And I've been on winning teams my whole career. Team chemistry is important. And baseball, we're 25 guys. Basketball, there were 12.
And only 8 or 6, 7 that count, right? You know that, right?
It's even more so, I think, in basketball that you have to have the right group of guys. I'm getting rid of James Harden off my team for sure. One, I personally don't think that I could win a championship with him anyway. So I'm going to go out here and build and see what I can find, and I'm moving him. And then I'm going to talk to Embiid. I'm going to call him in personally. I mean, you're the face of my organization.
Right.
You're our guy. I need to know what's on your mind. What are you feeling to make you do the things you're doing on social media? I need to know how you feel, because I'm not above getting rid of Embiid as well. I like Embiid. I don't think he should have won MVP last year after watching him in the playoffs, because I had never really watched Embiid a lot.
I think that there was that drum beat against the Joker winning 3 in a row, and he played like the MVP. We saw. Am I right?
I saw Jokic play in the playoffs, that's really the first time I really got a chance to sit down and watch him play.
Well, a lot of people, right, because, they're playing in Denver, he's putting up these numbers, You're not really paying attention.
Exactly.
And then you saw him in the playoffs, you're like, this dude can play.
Dude can play. But likewise with Embiid, I never really was watching the Sixers that much until the playoffs. And now watching them in the playoffs, I said, I'll take Jokic over Embiid every day.
Right.
Every time. So as a GM, I'm getting rid of Harden, absolutely, for sure, with no problem. Especially after you talk all that stuff and gonna call me a liar.
Right.
You're not coming back to my team if I'm the GM.
See, here's my thing. You already knew what you were dealing with. Daryl Morey was with him in Houston. You remember he forced his way out of Houston. He put on a fat man suit. You remember that, Dave? He came out of shape. Didn't want to be there. I want to go to Brooklyn. Went to Brooklyn. Forced his way out of Brooklyn to Philadelphia. He took him back. And then he has the nerve to opt in on his contract for $35 million. And then after he opt in, he says he don't want to play there. I want to be traded. I'm not going to let him dictate what we do. I'm not giving up. I hear you with chemistry. I hear you with Embiid. Dave, you got to draw a line in the sand sometime, and you can't allow to be pushed around And I love what the Nets did last year. You remember Kevin Durant asked for a trade. What'd they say? We're not giving you away, and we're not going to make a trade where we give you away and we wind up left holding the bag. So they held on to him, and then once they traded Kyrie, then they went and made the trade. Same thing. So I do understand that. Same thing with Damian Lillard. He wanted to go to Miami. Portland ain't make a trade. What are you going to give me? We're not giving we're not giving you away for nothing. A bag of balls? No.
Yeah.
We need to get something. We're going to make a trade like that. Now, Harden, I'm just saying, I can't let him run my organization. I can't let him dictate everything. He shouldn't have opted in if he didn't want to be here, but he wanted the security of the $35 million.
Listen, for me to even listen to Harden, you got to have some championships behind you.
He got nothing.
You got to have something behind you.
He's got his numbers retired at some strip clubs.
He does not. I don't think Harden's game lends itself to being on a championship team, personally.
Well, you remember this past year
Great score.
against the Celtics. He played big in a couple of their games.
Couple games.
No, I know it wasn't the whole series. Game 1, they didn't have Embiid. You remember they won Game 1 in Boston.
Yep.
Then they went up there for Game 5 and he balled out and they won. Rob G, was it Game 5 or 4 he played well? Game 3 or 4.
Because basically what you're saying is
he played twice.
Sporadic.
Where he played really, really well. Yeah, it's not. He can't close the deal in the last 2 games. I think 6 and 7. Right, it was bad. If I remember,
could you imagine Harden playing with Golden State? You couldn't imagine it, could you?
No.
He'd be exhausted running around with that team. Harden's style of play lends itself to
I can't wait to see Chris Paul with him.
Think about it. It lends itself to a slower style of play, in my opinion.
Dribble.
When I watch Harden, he's got to be in a slower pace type of offense, which makes it better for Embiid because Embiid's the same way.
If I go to Embiid and I say, dude, I'm going to force James's hand. He's going to either have to come and be professional to get his $35 million, because if he's not professional, Dave, I didn't have the right to suspend him for no pay.
We're trying to win every year, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to improve our team every year, correct? You saw the team last year. We didn't win with that team.
Right, but
why are we running it back with the same team?
But what is the alternative is what I'm saying.
I'm telling you what the alternative is. I'm getting rid of James Harden.
Do you know what you're going to get for him? And he's damaged. He's damaged now, Dave. That's the problem.
I might be able to sell him on someone. What kind of sell game do I have? What kind of salesman game do I have?
You're going to sell him the Brooklyn Bridge and James Harden?
I'm still the GM, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to go out here and I'm going to try to talk to Portland. I'm going to see if I can talk to Damian Lillard. Or I don't know how that.
I know
works,
he wants to go to Miami. But
I know he wants to go to Miami. But let me make the Sixers sexy for you, okay? I'm getting rid of Harden. Absolutely. I can't have this type of animosity between myself and you, and then you're a big part of my clubhouse too. You could be in there talking to these young players. You know, you might mess up my environment, my locker room environment.
No, I get
and
it.
it matters, bro. It matters.
Especially in basketball.
It matters. It matters.
But I just can't, at some point as an owner or a franchise, you can't let these guys dictate everything. And that's what's happened to the NBA. Guys don't want to play. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. Dave, how do you justify it? You're running an organization, and the people who are employees are running the team.
What you just said there's certain teams, this would not happen. And you think that would happen with Robert Kraft's team?
No.
You think you can go in there and say something like that to Belichick and still be playing?
Or
hey, say something like that to Sherholtz with the Braves back in the early 90s to see if you're not out the next day.
Right.
Right.
Or are you going to dictate to George Steinbrenner today?
I wish you would go to George Steinbrenner and talk in that
Tell
mess.
him what are you going to do?
Tell him what. Again, so you got to decide what type of organization are we going to be? What is the fate? What is our mindset as an organization? What is our philosophy? And then we implement it. But you have to have players. You have to have the right players. Joel Embiid is the face of your team. Okay. Well, what does that face look like? It lends itself to a slower style. So you can't build your team around Joel Embiid and think you're going to have jackrabbits running up and down the court, right? Because Joel Embiid he'd be dead tired by the third quarter if you make him run up and down the court too much, from what I see. So you have to build a team that's more inclined to have sets, run half-court offenses. James Harden is, in my opinion, more that kind of guy, but he dribbles too much. He doesn't flow. It doesn't flow.
Okay,
you know what
here's
I mean?
my last thing for you. One last quick question, and then if you couldn't get a deal that you were satisfied with, would you still get rid of him even if you had to take an inferior deal? Yes or no, and a quick answer. Yes or no. Would you make that? All right, you know this is an inferior deal.
Listen,
but you just want to cleanse the
I'm making
locker
a deal,
room.
and here's why I'm making a deal, Rob, on principle.
Okay.
This is this is how we run this team. You don't go out here calling me a liar and talking all this mess and think you're going to be a part of this organization. There's a level of respect that this organization requires of our players. So I'm if I get less, I'm sending a message throughout the whole team.
I'm not going to take
I don't care who you are.
Right.
I'll get you out of here if you're talking like that. That's not what we want around here.